Hello everyone, welcome back to Stand Over Model Railway. Mark here again with another new video for you. I'd just like to apologise for the lack of videos and content from myself lately. Unfortunately, life has got in the way a bit recently. We had a couple of issues at Christmas time as well, which I won't go into, but just like I say, myself and my family are okay. So my wife's okay, but it's just some issues. But anyway, yeah, so I do apologise for the lack of progress, but hopefully things can resume to normal now. But anyway, on with today's video, and in today's video we've had some more progress with the track line and testing, mainly track testing, and there's a problem which threw up from that, which I go into in the video as well. And there's been a little bit of more work on the replacement for the yard board, which again will be in a separate part of the video. So without further ado, I'll get on with the show. Okay, so here we are everyone, I'm back working on the layout again. Not much has changed since the last video, but I have put a couple more pieces of track in. So what I've done, and I think I'm going to stay with it, is I've actually used set track curves here, and what I've done, I've cut one there, a bit off of one there, and a bit off of one there, and a bit off of one there. So that's a third radius. And I've also cut most of a second radius down there of a single length. The main reason I've done this is to try and to line up better with the edges of the board, because obviously the boards are designed to take apart, because obviously I can use flexi-track, and I do like to use flexi-track. The only problem is on curves, it's hard to keep in shape. I have actually got some screws which I could try, brass screws to solder to, because I know a lot of people use flexi-track and just solder to them and then cut it after, so there is that as an option. Or I know you can do it with copper board or copper clad PCB boards as well and cut them down. I've not tried that either. I should try, but I couldn't be bothered to get the soldering iron up basically. That's my lame excuse, but yeah, so we got that. So the main idea at the moment, if you excuse the speaker, will be, this will obviously be the run round loop the platform. That bit of the track's just resting there, and obviously the point will come off there, and that's going to go to an engine shed. You come around, obviously, and that goes into the point, because this there is the main platform road. And I'll have a little bit of track obviously up to there, and leave a bit on the end so I can get a road out. And then this loop here will be basically come to here. Again, it's a small bit of second radius set track. That's probably not going to be there. I'll probably stick to flexi, and then I'll come around and hopefully leave enough room at the board. Obviously the keeper won't want to have a bit of goods for a good small goods yard there. So yeah, so that's an update on the track work. I think I'm quite happy with it, so I'll probably stick to that, although I may come back if I get a chance to practice some soldering onto track, onto some brass screws, find some spare odd bits of track. And if I can get with that, then I might do that instead and do that and replace the curves over flexi-track, but we'll see. And obviously the turntable, this is my spare turntable. Well, it's resting upside down. It's the gauge where I'm going to put that, because obviously at some point I need to lift this curve up. And again, I'll probably replace that with second radius set track just to try and get it. This is roughly the same place as it was before on the old fiddle yard board, but it's slightly over that way. And it's very slightly for the main to try and get the second radius curve into there and go there, and that'll just be a dead end there. Probably with a buffer stop on it, but yeah, so I still have it on. That's why it's upside down, it's just to get roughly in place. Right, so moving on. As you can see, I've got my Hornby R965 controller set up. This is not the main controller for layout. Obviously I've got the combi on there, but I use this to run on my rolling roads, and obviously it's enabled me to power this track up, because obviously we're not connected to the point of the main track because I've got to cut a bit of straight for that and then solder the wire back in, or wires back in I should say. So this is just purely for testing purposes. But I thought I'd test my schools class, it's on my schools class, Cheltenham, to see how it goes around the curve, see if you can manage it, because as you can see, if I can get down, if the light comes out right, you've got the pipes on there on the bogie, which gives the bogie a bit of limited movement. I think it's limited movement on these anyway. So hopefully it's going to go round. So I've got a mixture of second and third raises curves here. This is a Rainier third raise, so it should be okay. If it was more on seconds, it might give me a problem, but we'll see what it does. So we'll go around the main track first and then see how that performs. Again, when we get to there, I can only go as far as here, because as soon as it goes on the fiddle yard, obviously there's no power because there's a break in the board. But it's just so purely for testing purposes, it seems okay. I'll try and vary the speed a bit, slow and fast. That seems okay. Alright, so we'll change the point and come on to what will be the new station area. If you just bear with me, change the point, because they're all manually at the moment. Manual points, so see if we can run into what will be the new station. Back. Right, we'll change the points. Let's run her into what will be the main station road. Let's have to flick the switch on the controller as well. Yep, that seems okay. And then what we'll do, finally into what will be the goods. Sliding. Yep. So it seems okay. Right, well that seems okay, so I should be really ready now to start pinning the track down and cut a bit out for there and join it back up, and obviously at some point I need to work on the station out for this board. But I'm going to leave that for now because I want to get this board done first, and I'll come back to you on that when I've done some more work on it. Right, unfortunately I've discovered a rather irritating problem. I'm sure I pointed out in the last video, but if I didn't, the curve points I'm using are actually new Peco Unifrog set track points, the right hand ones. So they can be used as either an insular frog point or an electro frog point. As you can see, you've got the metal frog in there. But I've discovered a quirk of them, or rather my brother did, when he was looking it up for wiring purposes for me. And I've obviously tested it out as well. But the problem we've got now, I've got Normandy obviously on one of the roads to the new station area, and I've used metal points metal joint, rail joiners, sorry, on the points, which it says you can do on the back of the Peco packets. But it proves the theory right. Now, bearing in mind the frog wire is not obviously on either, because none of this is wired in, but we have a little problem with a loco on that track. Now, in theory, that shouldn't move, as they're technically they're insular frog points at the moment, they're wired up, but bearing it in mind, that's what it's supposed to be. But if you take a look, if I turn the controller on, you've got them both locos moving. I'll just go backwards again. Yep, there you go. You've got both locos moving, which is obviously isn't any good. So from the research that David's done, all we can do is actually put, instead of using metal joints, use one metal rail joiner and then an insulated joiner on the opposite side. Doesn't really matter which side you're doing, but put an insulated joiner in, and then obviously wire that to a switch so you can turn the power on and off. So you can therefore isolate all of this, because obviously I don't want two locos working all the time on both tracks. And not only that, I'm going to have another controller for this section anyway on this side to make it a bit easier for filming and controlling, and so I can control locos in the new station area separate. So yeah, that's rather a nuisance. So yeah, if you're going to use the Unifrog points, I mean, this is obviously, bear in mind, this is code 100 Unifrog points and the set track ones, but I should think, as far as I know, Peco are going to go to Unifrog points for all of them. If you want to use it an Unifrog, you can't. You need to put a plastic rail joiner in and wire up an isolating switch so you can isolate the section on and off. This is on DC, this, by the way, not DCC. I'm only running DC. I don't know what it does on DCC, but a note to bear in mind when you're running on a DC. Right, so I'm on to the next stage of build, which I want to progress with before I actually permanently fix the track down, and that is to cut out the hole for the turntable, which hopefully you can see this. I'm not sure because there's a shadow which I can't get rid of because of the way the light's coming in, but it's marked out here. There's two circles. Obviously the outside one I marked originally for the outside of the turntable edge so I could see where it's going, and obviously the inside bit is where I'm cutting out to put the turntable one in. And then I'm not really sure if you can see this, but this here will be where the pencil lines are. Hopefully you'll see in this. This is going to be a river stroke stream. I'm going to cut that out as well for the next stage, and I'll show you more how I go about, once I've cut the hole, how about going creating the rest of the riverbed and that. So I shall leave this bit and I'll get back to you when I've done some more cutting. So we're now a few days on, and as you can see, there is actually no track on this board or this part of the extension. The reason being for it is because I wanted to make some alterations or slight alterations to the board. So what I done first of all is, before I took the track up, I drew around it, hence why there's pencil lines, and also there's a couple of holes in there as well, because I just temporarily pinned the track in a couple of places before I drew around it to help keep it steady, so make it easy to draw around. So I've drawn around it so I know where to put it back. There's also, I'm trying not to show you too much, I'll show you in a minute, but there's also a mark there, and on this side I've put a strengthening bar into the framework as well underneath to help support the board, and also for another reason which I'll explain now. So if I move over, now as you can see, there's actually now two holes in the board. The first one is for the turntable, which obviously go in the big round hole. Well, it's not quite round, it's round enough. Obviously I cut it out with a jigsaw, and I'm no carpenter or expert woodcutter, so it's the best it can do. I had a lot of fall over the turntable, I must admit, because I'm in an iron whether to put it back in, to be honest, and just have this more as a more scenic area. And instead of obviously the turntable coming off here like it used to, this would just come off, and I would maybe move the track over slightly, and put an engine shed there, a shorter one than what I already had. But I've decided on balance I am better having a turntable, because it has a little bit more interest to lay out for me, and hopefully for the viewers, new viewers as well, my subscribers. And not only that, it saves a bit of handling on the tender locos, because I did think of getting a re-railer, which would have cut the handling down, but I think I still would have been handling them. So I've gone after, and I talked to Mark, my good friend Mark from Helmdown Model Railway, about it as well. And he said, yeah, it probably is, in his opinion as well, probably better to have a turntable still. So yeah, so we've got the hole for the turntable, but the other hole here is my attempt to make a cutout for some sort of water feature. Now, originally I cut both sides of this. Again, I've cut it with a jigsaw, but originally I cut it with a normal straight edge. Obviously that wouldn't have been no good unless I was doing a canal or something, and as I'm not sure whether it's going to be a canal or a river or a stream, I just know it's going to be some sort of water feature. Yeah, I cut it straight, but what I've done, again, I've done it with a jigsaw. I did try and recut the edges again, using the jigsaw on a 45-degree angle. No, I was tilted to the right and then tilted to the left. But I didn't get very well on that on my first attempt. I've tried again with a different blade. Both blades were usable for scrolling, but this blade, what I use this time, seems a bit better, but it's still not, I mean, I don't want a right angle, but it's still not quite done, but it's better than what it was. So I'm going to reshape this. I'll try and put a bit more shape on it with a rasping file. Normal file is the only thing I've got to be careful is I can't take much more off of here, because obviously you see that's where the tie bars for that curve point is there, and obviously if I'm going to motorise it, I need to make sure that I've got room for the motor to fit in there as well. And obviously I've cut out the end there. I am going to put a back seam board on here, so yeah, it depends on what bridge I do. So you may not even see that bit anyway, but I can block it off from underneath anyway, because I've made cutouts in the frame, but I can stick a bit of MDF, a bit of MDF or hardboard there to try to block it off, probably from the inside. And again, obviously I've cut out the front of the frame there. I'm not quite sure how I'm constructing the rest of it, but I will show you that in a separate video. I'll just get a quick look on from this down here. So because it's on the curve, by the time the turntable's was in, although you can see through now to the back, you won't quite see through once that's in. So yeah, I'll probably end up blocking that end off anyway, especially if I'm going to do resin, because obviously I don't want it escaping. But I'll put more about the build on that obviously when I get to it. Well, I do hope you enjoyed the video, everyone. Hopefully now things have settled down a bit more, it won't be so long again before my next one. And I'd just like to thank all my subscribers for continuing watching me and supporting me, and also a big welcome to any of my new recent subscribers. Thank you for joining and subscribing to the channel and watching my videos. It really is very much appreciated by all of you. I hope you all keep it safe and well, and say I'll be back soon hopefully with some more progress on my layout. And until then, I wish you all well, and bye for now.